Owning a dedicated photo printer will add more to your photography journey than you realize. I recently picked up the Canon Selphy CP1500 printer, and I chose it for a very few select reasons that I want to talk about today, and why you should consider getting a cheap photo printer or investing in something that's going to produce even better images. So why did I bother getting a printer at all? There were three main reasons. The first is that I really wanted to print my photos to improve my photography. There is something about holding a physical photo over looking at it on a screen. The way we interact with that media, it really is different. Rather than being able to zoom in to my photos and then zoom out and take a look at the whole composition, there's something nice about picking up an actual photo itself and really inspecting it, looking at the colors that have come out, taking in all the elements. And there's something about the physical that I really like. I mean, there are benefits to reading a physical book over reading off of a tablet screen, and so I believe there are benefits in the photography space as well. Second reason why I wanted a photo printer is I don't really like going down to my local photo printing store, or any for that matter. Not because they're not great or anything, it's just that I don't like spending that time going down, walking down, driving down, whatever, sitting down, selecting my photos, printing them off, waiting for that, then needing to come back home. It's all that time I really could be utilizing a bit better. I could be going out and shooting more photos, editing more photos. I could be editing these videos that I'm making. And so waiting for those photos is actually pushing back my workflow. So having something small and quick that works at home is already going to boost my workflow and create a more beneficial amount of photos that I'm going to be able to print whenever I want. The last reason why I really wanted to get a photo printer, and this is a big one, it's that I kind of got sick of putting all my photos onto Instagram and then seeing them just disappear in the feed. Eventually they just vanish. And the same thing on my phone. Once you take enough photos on your phone or you screenshot things, they also get pushed back, and all of a sudden your collections are either not full, they're not done, you haven't organized it all, you've lost all your photos, you scroll back from months, even years ago, and you go, wow, I forgot I took that photo, and it's a bit of a shame. So I like this idea of being able to go out on a shoot. I'm not going to print every single photo, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to select probably my top 3 that I would really like to print, and then I can put them into a little photo album. I can stick them on the wall. I can use them for something, so that way I can look back and appreciate that photo walk that I went on, or that studio shoot that I did with a model, or any work that I've really done. It just allows me to see and interact and remember more clearly those times and appreciate the photos. So how does it make you a better photographer? Well, having the physical photo there is already a boon, because you're able to pick up the photo, for example, you're able to have a look at it, see how the colors came out, and decide, is that what you wanted it to look like? This photo here, it's incredibly dark up there. There's a vignette that I didn't really want, and I look at that and go, maybe that's the printer. But also I look back on that photo and go, maybe that's because I had my screen super bright and maybe the colors were not calibrated. I took this photo maybe 2 years ago. I really like it. It was a good trip. It was a good memory. But I look at the photo and go, next time I try something like this, I reckon I can fix that. Or on top of that, looking at things like composition. I have, for example, this photo here that I took on a recent street walk, and I love the edit, but I absolutely love that I really did take the time to edit enough to show that there are these leading lines with the shadows and the darks. They're using the light to really push that. I look at that photo and I go, that is near perfect. The only thing I don't really like about it is I didn't wait for this van to just vanish. So how does this make your photography better? Well, one of the benefits really is having the physical copies, because you can inspect them, you can see how they come out. When you're putting together a collection, you can line them all up and you can really look at how they all work together. What is the story being told there? What photos may not fit in? What things might you have missed that you might go back for one day? Those sorts of things are really valuable, because not one photo can be great, but a collection of photos can be incredible. And I look back on a few of my older photos. So I have 2 here. This is one that I took of a lighthouse while I was up in the north coast of New South Wales. And I think it's beautiful. I really enjoyed the sun that was hitting it. I think I made the sky a bit too blue. I think I just pumped that saturation a bit too much. And then that same afternoon, there's this rock that we also went to, and I really liked it. I enjoyed trying to make this person looked much smaller compared to the large rock that they were near, really playing with scale there. But these were earlier photos in my photography career, and I've since learned, and going back to these similar places, I've really focused on framing, and I've really focused on the story that I'm trying to tell. So for example, I went back to this location again and I took this photo early morning. I decided to change the time of day because I didn't want that really strong blue sky in the middle of the day. And what I got while going through these areas was a vastly different look. And now obviously I've changed focal length and I've really thought about where I want to take my photo. But by having these side by side, I can really see how I've improved. And I think that's something that we forget about. When our photos get lost in the algorithm, it is very rare that we go back and we look at a photo from 4 years ago and compare it to a photo that we took a year ago or a day ago. It's something that will help improve your ability to reflect on what you have learned and you're doing well and what you might want to continue getting better at. Another thing that I think is really important isn't just for landscapes, which I was just showing before, but also shooting with people. It's being able to have a look at the photos that you have taken and go, what style of photo do I really like? You can line these up side by side and you can take a look at the edits that you like. I've really tried to do a variety of different edits every time I go out for a shoot until I start to find something that fits into what is slowly becoming my style. I haven't quite found it because I like photographing models and people. I like photographing street and just being amongst everyone. And I like photographing landscapes when I get my chance to go up the coast or further inland. And I'm never gonna stop doing these things, but I think in the editing process, I'm slowly tweaking and figuring out what do I like my photos to look like, and that will influence the time of day I go out. That will influence the location I go on. There are a variety of things that I'm learning now already looking at my printed photos over the last 4 years. All right, so here's the thing. Why would you want this printer over something that is clearly more for a photographer? Well, first of all, if you are a beginner photographer and you just want to print your photos, this is simple. That's what I wanted. I wanted something that was really simple. The biggest issue I had going into this area of photography was I got bogged down in why I should buy the best, biggest printer, why I need inkjet, why I've got to have all the paper sizes, what type of paper should I have? Should it be matte? Should it be glossy? Should it be between glossy and matte? And the thickness, and it just became crazy. And I just got overwhelmed and I stopped for months. And then when I came back, I went, I just want photos for me. I'm not printing these to sell. If I want to do that in the future, I will look into how selling prints works and I'll probably go through a professional printing service. But for me, I wanted this to improve my photography, and that meant me being able to see the photos. They didn't have to come out perfectly on crazy grained paper. I just needed to see them, and I needed to see them quickly rather than going down and paying to get it done and waiting an hour for them to print or however long it takes. So, first thing is, it is simple, easy to set up, and it's really, that's it. It's easy to set up and it's easy to use. So how do the images come out? How do the photos come out? Well, look, honestly, they come out really well. The colors are really good. The shadows and the highlights come out really nicely. I'm pretty impressed with it. And I understand that these will never look as good as a high-grade professional printer, but for someone who is just looking to look at composition and see basically kind of how the colors are coming out when you print them, it's a really good start. But something that I noticed, which was really interesting, and I'll show you the photos. So I took the same photo twice, once with my Pentax K1000 and then once with my A7 IV. And the results were really interesting, and at first I thought I'd made a mistake. So this is the photo with my A7 IV, and that comes out really clean, and this is after I've done my edits, I've taken time and care. And then this is with the film camera, and I just thought I'd like it. On my phone this looks better, but then when it printed, it doesn't look that great. There's this weird green tinge up in the corner here, and then, I don't know, there's this weird orangey pink here, and I know it's the sunrise, but strangely enough, I'm really happy with this. Kind of made me go, wow, my edits on my digital photos are actually looking really good, and I still have a lot of learning to do when it comes to film. On top of that, there are so many other photos that I've taken that I've learned from. So this is a photo of my partner. We went out local area by the water, and on my phone, it's my screensaver. Here, let me show you. Here it is. So when the brightness is all the way up, it looks amazing. I actually really love it. It's one of my favorite photos. But then when I printed it, it's really dark. And I realized what I learned from this is screen brightness. How have I not really been considering that? When I print this photo, it came out super dark, but on my phone it's really bright. And that's because screen brightness is affecting how my photos are looking. And so now when I'm editing, I'm really thinking, okay, how is this gonna come out when I have my brightness all the way up, when I have it about midway? I'm really starting to think about that. So that is helping me improve as well. Another great thing about this printer that I really like is it's compact. It's very small. It fits on my shelf. It fits in a drawer. I put it in my backpack the other day and took it to work to show people how much I like it and try to convince them that they should get one as well. That's how small it is. It's honestly maybe as big as having my A7 IV and a lens sitting next to it in my bag. It's that big. It's great. Big fan of the size. All right, but why shouldn't you get this printer? At the end of the day, it only shoots in A5. So that's the largest you're going to get, a postcard size picture. And yeah, you might need to print larger format pictures. You might actually be moving into professional printing. You might want to start selling your prints and you want to offer different sizes. So at the end of the day, if you need something bigger than this, you have to get a different printer because that's the size you get. If you need to have proper color accurate photos, the best thing about this printer is, yes, it's cheap, but one of the downsides is it doesn't have all those colors that you're going to be seeing on your screen. And so moving from your screen to your paper, it's going to print differently. And so if you are selling prints, even if it's at A5 size, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your photos are coming out looking exactly like your edits on your screen, that you calibrated, that you took the time for. And so you don't want to be offering up subpar printed images because you're printing on a cheaper printer. And that's just the fact. You know, these blues and these oranges in this photo are really nice. However, when I look at my screen, they're a little bit different. And I wonder if that's the paper and the ink, or maybe it's my editing. It's a fantastic little printer, and honestly, I encourage anyone and everyone, whether you're beginner or pro or just getting into it, to get something that can print out your images so you can really enjoy experiencing them through more than one medium. Don't let them get lost in the Instagram algorithm. Don't let them get lost in your folders on your computer. Print a couple that you really like, frame them, put them up, stick them on a wall, enjoy them. This printer is worth it, and I can't wait to keep on using it.